WSRadio.com.
Welcome back to Computer and Technology Radio with your hosts, Mark Cohen and Marcia Collier.
And welcome back, 877-474-3302. We're talking to Jeff Farr from Farr Systems, talking about car hacking and such. And so tell us again, what we just interrupted you in the middle of what Marcia was asking you. Marcia, what was it?
No, I was talking, we were talking about the cloud, and then I was asking, can the CD entertainment system of a car send a signal, let's say, to the brakes or something like that?
In theory, they're not supposed to be able to. Like I said, the study we were talking about, they did successfully get from the CD, they infected a CD, a song on a CD, and it gave it some control, and they could do some things like they could change the instrument panel, like where the display for your mileage, so they displayed a message there. They got to the braking system. I'm not sure that they could actually do anything with it, but they actually got through. And the concern there is the security systems in a car, whether it be braking or the steering or cruise control, airbags, all of those things should be completely separate from any of the entertainment systems. And that just showed the vulnerability of you can get across the bridge. That was the problem there.
Oh, okay. So, like, I don't know if you knew, but Anonymous took down the CIA.gov website just yesterday.
Yep.
Now, let's think about the possibilities. I mean, if people care enough to develop the technology to take down the CIA, how far are they away from taking down, I hate to say, the leader of a company's car? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
People are using cars all the time. What could they do? I mean, honestly, there is a microphone in a car, most of the newer cars,
Absolutely.
especially the high-line cars. And, you can speak through them. I wouldn't think it would be that big a stretch to make a radio signal so you could hear the phone conversations or the conversations even going on inside the car when the phone isn't activated. Am I correct, or am I too creative?
No, I think you're absolutely. I think that is actually, when I'm thinking about the vulnerabilities and the likelihood, some of this stuff is, like I said, the chances of the braking system to the person next to you, the probability of that is so low. You start getting into, now I'm getting into the infotainment system and the Bluetooth, the speaker in a car, is not, that's a whole different thing. It's a lot less secure, easier to get to, much more common technology, based on more standard stuff. So I don't think that's a stretch at all. I think that's a common concern among the automakers, the infotainment system manufacturers. So no, I don't think you're being too creative there at all. I think that's real.
All right, so what do we do to protect ourselves?
So back to that. Like I said, the things that you can do that are within a consumer's control, things like good passwords, we've talked about that, whether it be at home or at work or on your cell phone, whatever, it still stands true. So if you have hotspots or Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, sometimes you can set the password on the Bluetooth and sometimes you can't. If you can't, then that's back to the automaker to secure that. Other things, like I said, if you put the data, if you put it if you upload your data to your automobile and you decide to sell it, be sure that you either get the manufacturer's help or you get someone's help to be sure you wipe that out. What else? The other thing that this is kind of going more toward car theft, but one of the things I don't like to do is if I valet my car, I don't like to give them the fob. Mm-hmm. I prefer to give them the valet key. Fobs are, you can copy a fob. And so once, and now the fobs will unlock, start the car, that they're pretty sophisticated. So that's something else that's a behavior that the consumer could do to maybe help protect themselves.
Interesting.
Well, I was reading an article in Texas where a disgruntled employee of a company that installed GPS, you know what I'm talking about, who installed GPS units in leased cars, and they can remotely prevent the car from starting or sound the horn if people fall behind in lease payments.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And this disgruntled employee
decided. System, but yeah.
Yeah, and this employee, like, he was unhappy. So he just started honking the horns of all the cars out on lease and shutting them down. And actually, it was a major deal. He was charged with felony breach of computer security.
Right.
And, yeah, I mean, this is something that's going to be happen, not just with the stuff that's built into the cars, but I even would have more so a fear of what we have installed aftermarket in our cars.
I agree with you. I think the aftermarket stuff is, like I said, Ford, Chevy, and GM. Those guys, this is a huge thing. They're going to make this. You're going to get best effort out of them to make these cars as secure as they can be. An aftermarket product that you plug into the system, and you have a lot less control there. I'm assuming that they're going to do. They're not as worried about this. And so, and you have a lot less control. The auto manufacturers can't control that as easily. So I think you're absolutely right. The aftermarket stuff, a lot of the studies that you'll see, if you read the internet, you'll look at some of these things, a lot of these vulnerabilities were based on aftermarket systems that were put in, security systems and so forth.
Wow. Well, I mean, this is fascinating stuff. And one last question, which is, I think a lot of us worry because we watch maybe too much CSI, where somebody gets into your car and goes into your GPS system and then tracks you to your home based on what your registration is, and they rob you. I mean, what do you recommend people do about a GPS system in terms of storing information in it?
Once again, this is a risk-reward kind of thing. We all have. There's GPS systems now on almost every cell phone that there is. Right. Almost every car nowadays has a GPS in it. Whether or not they have the navigation or not, it's different. But we've gotten to where this is just completely, ubiquitous across all of these vehicles. So, is there a vulnerability there? Yes. Could those things happen? Yes. Does it take pretty high skill level to do it? Yes. So I don't know. I think right there in that one, I think that's more most consumers are not worried about somebody listening into them or tracking them via their GPS. But it is possible. It is definitely technology that's there. And so I'm not sure I have advice on exactly what to do about that particular issue.
Wow. And if we wanted to learn more about this, where would we go?
There's all kinds of things online. Like I said, the security companies, whether it be Kaspersky or AVG or Symantec, those guys, a lot of them are putting out papers and things like that. And then certainly they can go to our website, contact us, and I'll be glad to share anything they'd like to know.
Great.
And what is your website again?
Marcia, it's www.farsystems.com, and Farr is Farr.
Terrific.
Perfect.
Jeff, thank you so much for being with us. Really great information. I don't think I've ever really thought about this, and every time something new technologically gets created, we have to worry about it on the other side. So
absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank you. Take care. Good to talk to you.
Hey.
I mean, I guess we all have to be worried now about those little things. We think of them as conveniences, certainly GPS or computers in the car or internet in the car, but, who thought about hacking them? When you're driving on the freeway, somebody's hacking into what you're watching. Little scary.
It's just creepy.
Yeah, I have to tell you.